I mix you again.
Hello everyone and welcome to another Team Talk with me, Matt Print from Fitness with Matt. I am here to shed some light on something to do with health, fitness and well-being each week, just to empower you, to give you a little bit more knowledge so you feel a little bit more confident about certain subjects and aspects of health, fitness and well-being. Now, today's topic is about the menopause and can it cause weight gain? Because I know it's a very common problem and it's very much an issue for a lot of my demographic, okay? But I want to get out a disclaimer. So I am not a woman. I am not going through the menopause. I have done my best to research, but of course it doesn't replace human experience. So I'm very much aware that I am fortunate enough to not be going through this myself. So I very much want to make that clear, that I am aware that I'm a man talking to you about the menopause. But I don't think that means I shouldn't talk about it and try and help. So let's start off by talking about what is the menopause. Well, the menopause is when a woman stops having periods for over 12 months and is no longer able to get pregnant naturally. It is caused by a change in the balance of hormones. 45 to 55 is the usual age range, but it can happen early, but the average age is 51. But running up to this is the peri-menopause. It's a period leading up to when you have the 12 months without your period. It's when periods become less frequent and there are a lot of symptoms which develop during this time. And here is a list of some of them. Irregular periods, hot flushes and night sweats, vaginal dryness, mood swings, low mood and anxiety, headaches, migraines, trouble with concentration, often referred to as like brain fog, joint pain and weight gain. These are just some symptoms that people experience. And it's very different from person to person. I've heard about people who are extremely confident within like the fitness industry who, when they hit the menopause or the peri-menopause, their confidence just disappears for no reason. They struggle with concentration. They have trouble sleeping. So there's a lot of symptoms which come with the peri-menopause and the menopause. And the peri-menopause can last on average for 4 years. So it's quite a while to be experiencing these symptoms. So next, can the menopause cause weight gain? Now we've cleared up what the menopause is and peri-menopause. Can it? In simple terms, yes. But as with everything with the human body and life, it is far more nuanced than that. So whilst there is no official scientific evidence that says and supports that the menopause directly causes weight gain or HRT causes weight gain, it is definitely extremely common during the menopause for women to experience weight gain. So the evidence does show the distribution of fat within the body changes. So whilst being childbearing, the fat distribution tends to go to the legs and the hips. So a woman has a pear-shaped body. It tends to move more towards an apple-shaped body as we go into the menopause, peri-menopause, menopause. Now, the thought is, and the evidence suggests, that it's due to estrogen because it influences fat distribution within the body. And it also increases the storage of visceral fat, which is like internal within the abdomen. So also during this time, because of the lack of estrogen, it can cause the body to be less effective at using sugar, which again can increase fat storage. Also, as we age, our metabolism changes. It slows, it lowers. They reckon it could be around 200 calories a day less you need as you age. Another common reason for this in both men and women is because as we age from 40 onwards, we lose about 8% of our muscle mass during this time as we age as part of the aging process. And our muscle mass plays a massive role in our metabolism because it uses a lot of energy. When we move, muscle requires a lot of calories to operate, to bring about movement. So as our muscles waste away, We don't need as much energy. Okay? Does that make sense? Is that clear? But also, a reason why the menopause and perimenopause can cause weight gain is often due to lifestyle, because in fact that plays an even bigger role. If we go back to those symptoms, so you're likely to struggle with sleeping. We've discussed previously in Team Talks, when we are tired, we make poorer decisions around our food choices. We struggle with our social relationships. We're cranky. We're less tolerant of things. But also, when we are tired, it affects our metabolism, insulin sensitivity. It affects the hormone leptin that affects our hunger. So leptin tells you when you're full, and that drops down. But ghrelin, a hormone which tells you you're hungry and makes you eat, goes up when we're tired. So you're going to be fighting against your biology. Also, thinking about women at this stage of their life, maybe they've got grandkids, and then a lot of their time is going to be taken up by looking after their grandkids, supporting their own children, which then takes more of their energy, which is already low because they're struggling to sleep. So you can just see how, as we enter this period of our life, people, men and women, tend to be less active as well because they're more tired and it's harder. So weight gain very much does happen when you're perimenopausal and heading into that menopausal phase. Some of it is biological. Some of it is going to be lifestyle factors. So I'm going to give you some top tips to help you, or at least try and help you during this very difficult period of life. Number 1, speak to your GP. There is support out there. Yes, I get the impression it is hard to get the right support, but there's so many different treatment options out there, creams, patches, tablets, so many different options. Make sure you do your research. Most doctors' practices, GP practices, will have a menopause specialist. Try and get in with them. And if you're not happy with the answers you're getting, go somewhere else. Try and find someone who does understand and listen to you and help and support you. So, number 1, get help from a medical professional. Okay. Number 2, we're going to move on to thinking about lifestyle changes that you could maybe make to help you alleviate some of the symptoms and some of the things which happen. So we all know it's important to be active. But if you think about mood-wise, if we have a workout, it often boosts mood, it relieves stress. So if at this time you are finding yourself particularly emotional, stressed, etc., exercising can help to alleviate that, release some feel-good hormones. Of course, it will have the additional benefit of burning calories, which your body is probably doing less of as we age because our metabolism slows. Also, it's going to help reduce the risk of osteoporosis. It's going to help to keep your bone density up because of impact, and it doesn't have to be high impact. Just simply walking alone, moving, dancing can really help reduce the risk. So another reason to be active. Let's think about resistance training, so training with weights. Strength training, number 1, it improves your insulin resistance. So it means your body will better process and react to sugar, carbohydrates. Number 2, it's going to help to maintain your muscle mass as we age. It's going to help stimulate the process of creating muscle. It's going to reduce the risk and the amount of muscle wastage you have, which is super important because it's going to keep your metabolism higher. Yes, it's not going to be easy if you aren't sleeping well. So let's think about sleep. Often we don't have a routine, which I've spoken about before, around bedtime. Make sure your bedroom is cooler, especially if you're having night sweats. Make sure you've got light items of clothing you can put on, take off. Even consider, if you've got the space, sleeping in a separate bed to your other half. If they don't like the temperature warm and you want it, if they don't want it cold but you do, there's always the option. And then at least if you're in separate rooms, you don't have to worry about throwing the duvet off, X, Y, Z, okay? It's not a reflection of your relationship. Most people's relationships would operate better if everyone had more and better sleep. We all know how cranky we are. when we're tired, okay? And there's nothing wrong with that, okay? But just try your best to get decent sleep. So making sure your bedroom's cooler, lighter, more natural fibres for your linen, things like that. Also, thinking about hot flushes, remove any triggers you find you have. So keep a log of when they come. It could be food. Spicy food can often trigger hot flushes. So looking at dietary things that maybe are triggering hot flushes and trying to remove those from your lifestyle to alleviate those symptoms. And also, nutrition is going to be super important because we know when we're tired, biologically, our brain craves high fat, high sugar, super palatable foods that are delicious and there to be enjoyed, and you should have. But often, if we're stressed and we're eating emotionally, it's mindless, it's uncontrolled, it's impulsive. So trying to make sure we manage our stress will help, but making sure our meals during the day are balanced, and by that I mean we have a good amount of protein, it's going to help with muscle loss, good amount of healthy fats, but also carbohydrates, and making sure those meals are filling us up, so maybe we're snacking less between meals, okay? Things like that can go and help. Now, these aren't perfect solutions, but hopefully they can help in some way, okay? Most of all, be kind and compassionate to yourself because your body's going through a lot of changes. You cut teenagers slacks. You cut teenagers slack when they're going through their hormonal changes. As we age, we also need to give ourselves that slack as well, you know? Some things are biologically happening that are really tough. Okay, so make sure you are getting that support from your GP and the people around you. I hope today has helped a little bit and you feel a little bit more empowered. Do let me know your thoughts either privately, publicly, and yeah. Thank you so much for listening to another Team Talk from me, Matt Print. And don't forget to follow me on social media, Fitness with Matt on Facebook, Fitness with Matt 1 on Instagram. And if you are watching this on YouTube, give it a thumbs up and also subscribe because it really does help me to reach more people with some simple, helpful, empowering advice. So thank you so much and I hope to see you again soon.
I mix you again. Love is